Another Tuesday, another 7 days that has gone by of me probably thinking way too hard about a top 10 list. And this week, for you guys, I have the top 10 rock bands and artists of the 1980s. But first and foremost, if you guys love countdown lists, if you guys just like music in general and music suggestions, then hit that subscribe button. You're gonna love this channel and I would love your support. And if you guys don't know my criteria for my artist rankings, they're in the description below. And I'll tell you guys right now, for the 80s rock, I really based it a lot, not all of it, a lot, off of how good the lead singer was. I feel like a lot of these bands had amazing musicians, but if the lead singer was off the charts, that really helped out in this case. So as always, we start off with the honorable mentions. How's my hair look? I haven't gotten a haircut in like 3 months. It's looking okay. So the honorable mentions for the top 10 rock bands and artists of the 80s go Cyndi Lauper, George Michael, The Cars, The Clash, REM, Dire Straits, Iron Maiden, and then these three were really close, Prince, Aerosmith, and The Police, and I'm gonna give you guys reasons on why they just didn't make the top 10. They could have, just depending on the person, but Prince, I just saw more of a pop, a little bit more pop R&B-ish, genre, so we'll get back to that genre in future countdown videos. Aerosmith, that was very hard. My mom loves Aerosmith, but I just don't think they were the powerhouse, in the 80s that they were in the 70s, and I just think these other 10 bands really embodied the 80s just a little bit more, but they could have easily been 7, 8, 9, or 10 in my book, but that's just how they felt. And then The Police as well. I just felt like they didn't have that, that powerhouse feel of an 80s band. So let's get into the top 10. At number 10, I have the Irish band U2. Bono, amazing singer. You could really hear the emotion in his voice. The reason they're 10 and not higher, they just didn't, rock out as hard as the other 9 bands that I have in this list. Notable albums, Boy, October War, The Unforgettable Fire, The Joshua Tree, and Battle and Hum. The Joshua Tree, amazing album. You should check it out if you like Bono and U2. Notable songs, Sunday, Bloody Sunday, With or Without You, and I still haven't found what I'm looking for. What are you looking for? I don't know, Bono. U2, what are you looking for? At number 9, I have Van Halen. Van Halen brothers, amazing. What a name, Van Halen. That just sounds Van Halen, like an 80s rock band, right? They were credited with restoring hard rock to the forefront of the music scene. Now that's a really good comment to have, for an 80s rock band. I think Van Halen was amazing. Jump is played literally at every stadium, arena. If you've been to a professional sports game, you've probably heard Jump, or even just like a homecoming. Everyone plays Jump by Van Halen. Their albums were Woman and Children First, Fair Warning, Diver Down, 1984, 5150, OU 812. What's with all the numbers, Van Halen? Didn't realize there were that many numbers. Notable songs, Jump, Panama, and Hot for Teacher. Everyone knows Jump. People have remixed that song for decades, and imitation is one of the biggest forms of flattery. So Van Halen, number 9, I think they definitely deserve to be in the top 10. At number 8, you've seen them in the Netflix film The Dirt. If you haven't seen The Dirt, it's amazing. Motley Crue. Every time I think of Motley Crue now, I think of Motley Lou. The name of the band in Hot Tub Time Machine, where Lou stays in the past and he forms the band Motley Lou and he gets real famous. I always think of Motley Lou when I think of Motley Crue, but besides the point, The Dirt, Netflix movie, amazing movie. MGK was in it. I don't remember anyone else off the top of my head, unfortunately, but they were wild. They were really wild. They embodied the 80s, just drugs, alcohol, partying. They would get kicked out of hotel rooms and all that jazz. I mean, they were just crazy. Vince Neil, really good singer. I like him a lot. I think he's got a great voice. Albums, Too Fast for Love, Shout at the Devil, Theater of Pain, Girls, 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 Dr. Feelgood, and songs Kickstart My Heart, Home Sweet Home, and Girls, Girls, Girls. They did love the Girls, Girls, Girls. At number 7, I have Journey. Now, I know that Journey, people think of them as the karaoke band. It just is what it is. Don't Stop Believing It is the, top played karaoke song of all time. But in the same fact, like, that must mean they were an amazing band. They made an amazing song that anyone can sing to. And I think that's truly amazing art, when you can make something that everyone can vibe with, everyone can sing to, everyone can relate to. They had so many different band members throughout Journey's, career. Steve Perry being the main vocalist of Journey throughout their popular years. Even Randy Jackson was a bassist for a few years in Journey. So they had a lot of different band members, but they had some mega hits, and you can't deny that if you don't like Journey. Their albums Departure, Escape, Frontiers, Raised on Radio, and songs Any Way You Want It, Faithfully, Don't Stop Believing, and Separate Ways. And they just had a lot of mega hits. Their popularity was amazing. People just played their songs all over the place. I love Faithfully the most because I always think of Ricky Bobby. Is that Ricky Bobby? I think Faithfully plays in Ricky Bobby at the end when they're racing toward the finish line on their feet, but no. It's when he's about to make out with the redhead on the table and they're making animal noises. One of those two scenes. Either way, Faithfully, great song. Journey, number 7. At number 6, I have Def Leppard. Joe Elliott had a great voice. I think they wrote some really good songs. I think they were just a really good, solid band that really embodies the 80s. They were popular. They had great musicians in the band. They were amazing. Their albums On Through the Night, High and Dry, Pyromania, Hysteria, and In the 80s, they really did pump out the music too. They were pretty consistent. So they even had a big influence on future rockers. So notable songs: Pour Some Sugar on Me, Rock of Ages, and Hysteria. I personally love the song Rock of Ages, and that song was in Balls of Fury, that ping pong movie. Amazing. A lot of these bands in general, their songs are played in so many movies. I think 80s music was really good for movie soundtracks and things like that. So yeah, number 6, Def Leppard. Getting into the top 5, at number 5, I have Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi rocked hard. They were an amazing band. John Bon Jovi, great singer. He really puts them in the top 5. I think everything he did with his voice was amazing. Their album, self-titled album Bon Jovi, 7800 Degrees Fahrenheit, Slippery When Wet, and New Jersey. The Slippery When Wet album, I think that's one of the best rock albums of all time. Notable songs: Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, Born to Be My Baby, and Wanted Dead or Alive. And, those songs right there just show you why Slippery When Wet is one of the best rock albums of all time. I think they went so hard with those songs. Wanted Dead or Alive, that song makes you feel like a badass. And so does You Give Love a Bad Name and Living on a Prayer. So Bon Jovi was amazing. I think their songs are classic, and I think they're timeless. I think people are going to be singing Living on a Prayer, for as long as time can tell. So Bon Jovi at number 5. Coming in at number 4, I have Metallica, and I have a confession to make. I'm not the biggest Metallica fan. But I have them at number 4 because they're great. Music-wise, they're amazing. They have amazing musicians. Drummer's amazing. Kirk Hammett, lead guitar. He is one of the best guitarists of all time, Kirk Hammett. If I had a top 10 list, he would probably be on there. I think he is truly what makes Metallica top 10 band of the 80s. James Hetfield, he's a good singer. I just don't think he stacks up against, the top 3 bands, or even bands lower than them that I had in my top 10. I don't think he's the best singer. Is he good? Of course. They're in Metallica. Metallica's amazing. But I just think, the whole lead singer thing, that's why I have them at number 4 and not in the top 3 or not higher. I just think there's better singers out there. But is he good for heavy metal? Absolutely. He's a great heavy metal singer. But I think in the terms of just natural vocal talent, the top 3 bands just have, beat him in that category. So albums were Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All. Notable songs: Master of Puppets, One, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and Seek and Destroy. If you've played Guitar Hero, you've definitely heard One and multiple other Metallica songs, but they'll always be one of the hardest rockers. Just not my cup of tea, but Metallica at number 4. At number 3, I have ACDC, the Australian rock band. They were amazing. ACDC stands for Alternating Current, Direct Current, which is electricity. The brothers just felt that this name symbolized the band's raw energy, power-driven performances of their music. Lead singer Brian Johnson, I think I just thought he was a better singer than James Hetfield. That's why I have them above Metallica. Their albums were Back in Black, For Those About to Rock, Fly on the Wall, Who Made Who, and Blow Up Your Video. They also pumped out albums in the 80s. And ACDC, I mean, you know, I know Thunderstruck, I think, was a 90s song, just barely, but you know, they made songs for everyone. Everyone loved AC/DC. Notable AC/DC songs: Back in Black, You Shook Me All Night Long, Hell's Bells, and Shoot to Thrill. AC/DC just a staple. You know, even Beavis and Butthead rocked out hard to AC/DC. So AC/DC number 3, they're fantastic. All right, coming in at number 2, I have Guns N' Roses. That name, though, that name. Guns N' Roses, just an amazing name for an 80s rock band. Axl Rose, amazing singer. He really puts them up there. I love Axl Rose. I think his vocals are incredible. The things he could do, the octaves he could reach, and just everything he could do with his voice, amazing. They just had a really good, well-rounded band. And, you know, they really only had the one album in the 80s. They had Appetite for Destruction, also another album that would probably be in the top 10 or 20 best rock albums of all time. They had GNR Lies, but that was a little that had a few live songs and acoustic songs, so it wasn't really that Guns N' Roses feel. But Appetite for Destruction, I know, is just their one hard rock album, but I mean, that album was good, really good, and all those songs were being played everywhere. That's the one where you keep it, you know, in the crib, one for the whip, one for the plastic, because it's a classic. So, notable songs: Sweet Child of Mine, Welcome to the Jungle, and Paradise City. Everyone knows Sweet Child of Mine and Welcome to the Jungle. Those lived on the Appetite for Destruction album, and incredible. Guns N' Roses number 2, and that leaves number 1, Queen. I think I had Queen number 2 or 3 on the top rock bands and artists of the 70s. Go check out that video if you haven't yet. But Queen at number 1 really doesn't get better than Freddie Mercury. You know, they had the Live Aid's performance in, I believe, 85. They were just some of the best performers, and I think they were the best all-around band. And you know, Freddie Mercury, I don't think you could beat Freddie Mercury, especially between what they did in the 70s and 80s, and just his whole legacy was amazing. Freddie Mercury is just amazing. Their albums were The Game, the Flash Gordon soundtrack, Hot Space, The Works, A Kind of Magic, and The Miracle, another band that pumped out albums. Songs, notable songs, another one, Bites the Dust, Under Pressure with David Bowie, and Save Me. You know, everyone knows another one, Bites the Dust. Under Pressure, I mean, that song, you know, Vanilla Ice did that song. They had that little battle, I think, in the 90s, but they just influenced so many people. All these bands influenced so many people, but especially Queen. I mean, they just have so much impact on future generations of kids that came up that really wanted to compose music, that really wanted to storytell within their music, whether it was rock, you know, or any other genre. And so Queen number 1 doesn't get better than Freddie Mercury. I love Queen, big Queen fan. And there you have it, top 10 bands in the 1980s. If you have any discrepancies, let me know in the comments who should be switched around, who should be taken out, and who should be put in. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you like music content in general. Hit the like button, it really helps out the videos. And as I start to close down the hip hop and rock countdown list, I think I only have 2 more weeks of these. I'm gonna go back and probably either do pop, country, or R&B, you know, combination of those 3 of some sort. So let me know which genres you want to see in the future for countdowns, or just artists in general. If you guys want me to rank artists' albums or artist songs, let me know. Also, you can listen to my music on all streaming platforms. I love making music, and you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EJSpark1. And as always, it's peace, love, I love s'mores, EJ out.